thank you all for being here tonight. This is a called meeting of the Eastridge City Council, July 13th, 2017. We will call this meeting to order. Since it is a called meeting, there's some protocol that we need to go through. Invocation, pledge of the flag, roll call. We will have an opportunity for communication from citizens as well. At this time, if everyone would please stand for invocation, pledge of the flag. Join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and for all that you've done for us. We thank you for the opportunity to gather here today to listen to concerns of our citizens and to conduct city business, Lord, that we pray that you would guide, lead, and direct in all ways, that we can come up with ideas that we feel like will benefit the community, that will make travel easier for the people in this community. And Lord, again, just give us wisdom, help us to make good decisions, and just guide and direct everything that is said and done here. These things we pray in Jesus' name. So join me in the pledge of the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You missed it by that much.
I told you we don't have CARTA.
You're fine. You're fine, really.
You look good.
Oh, I appreciate it. We can have a roll call, please. Here.
Vice Mayor Sewell.
Here.
Councilmember Cagle.
Here.
Councilmember Hilton. Here. Councilmember Williams.
Here.
City Manager Miller.
Here.
City Attorney Mitchell.
Okay, at this time, we will have a presentation by CARTA representatives. This pertains to the information gathered from public meetings and online surveys. Please, if you'll come forward.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lisa Maragnon. I'm the Executive Director with CARTA. I've met some of you before at the last public meeting. I'm just going to start off with a brief introduction, and then we'll go into the presentation and the information. I wanted to say thank you very much for the opportunity to discuss the possibility of public transportation coming back to the citizens in the community of Eastridge. We're very, very excited about the opportunity to have these discussions. I also would like to introduce we have quite a few of our board members here, so I thought you might like to see who they are. We have our chairman of our board, Steve Jett. We have our treasurer, Sonny Moore. We have our secretary, John Bilderback, and we have board member Jill Hyman. Also from our CARTA staff, we have Philip Lacey, who's our transportation system planner, who will do the presentation for you tonight. We have Veronica Peebles, who's our marketing manager and communications, and Lisa South, who's our general manager of our Caribbean service and our ADA mobility manager. So we're going to be very excited about what you're going to see tonight and look forward to answering any questions and comments and continuing this conversation. And at this point, I'll introduce Philip.
Thank you for having us, Mr. Mayor. Just want to give you just a quick overview of the process we've gone through so far with you and look at some of the data we've collected and some options for the future for your consideration. So as we talked about before, CARTA currently operates 17 bus routes within the city of Chattanooga and Hamilton County. CARTA also operates the electric shuttle program, which just celebrated its 25th anniversary, as well as the Incline Railway. And CARTA provides paratransit through its Caravan program and currently serves over 47,000 passengers per year with that program. So in total, CARTA provides service to over 3 million customers per year. So we started this process back in March with a public meeting for public input. And we presented an overview of CARTA's system map, looking at the pilot program commuter service, which currently operates through Eastridge on its way to Enterprise South and the Industrial Park. And we made proposals of 3 routes for the public's consideration, one being a downtown connector route, traveling the breadth of Ringgold Road on its way to Mark East Ridge shuttle type option, which was less favorably reviewed, as well as a third option which provided connector service between Ringgold Road and Eastgate Town Center, which interlines with several other CARTA bus routes. So as a follow-up of that meeting, based on that input, some of the boards are over here for review if any of the public wishes to take a look at those. We conducted an online survey. This was not a scientifically randomly selected survey. It was open for self-selection. We received a total of 167 responses to the program. And looking at some of the questions involved, just want to go through some of the results. I believe you've reviewed some of them already. But the first question was a very general question about would you support CARTA returning bus service to the community of East Ridge, and the response for that process was 80% favorable. Then we asked why and how would you use the CARTA system. Over half of the respondents said they would use it for shopping, with going to employment, recreation, and medical services following closely behind. We then looked at how frequently you would use the service, with 22% saying they would use it on a daily basis, more using it on a weekly basis, and going all down to some who would never use it. So the question was, if the primary bus route were to travel along Ringgold Road, would you be able to access it? So 68% did say they would be able to walk, bike, or ride to Ringgold Road to access a bus. But that leaves a sizable percentage who might not be able to access it. And in the next question, we looked at exactly how you would do that. So the majority said they would simply walk there. We did receive some comments about sidewalk connectivity and access from different neighborhoods to Ringgold Road. But all of this information will weigh into our final proposal here at the end. A key question was, following the initial public meeting where we looked at 3 proposed alternative routes, we took those final 2, the downtown connector and the Eastgate Town Center neighborhood type route, and proposed them on the survey as to which you felt would be more beneficial for the citizens of East Ridge. And as you can see, some people felt the downtown connector was much more favorable. A few people thought that Eastgate Town Center connector, but over 53% said both were important to meet the needs of the residents of East Ridge. So not only traveling along Ringgold Road, but connectivity to Eastgate and beyond eastward, as well as connectivity to downtown. This question was looking at, we had several members with disabilities at our last public meeting, so we wanted to address any issues that might prevent people from accessing CARTA. All CARTA buses are wheelchair accessible. So in this case, 88% said they did not have a disability that would preclude them from using CARTA itself. So it might mean they still have a disability, but not one that would preclude them from using CARTA. And then as CARTA moves on in a variety of technology development programs, we want to understand how many people would actually have a mobile telephone device, either a smart phone device or even a text-enabled device. So combined, 93% of the respondents had some type of mobile device in which they could access public transit information or interface with the system. And then the next series of questions just looked at business owners. So we had a few respondents, not too many, about 10 respondents who answered this segment. If they did own or operate a business in East Ridge. And then we asked a couple questions about whether we felt this would enhance business opportunities to attract, retain, and meet the needs of their employees. So in this case, 28% said it would enable them to help retain employees. As far as their patrons requesting transit service for patrons to their business, that was split evenly. And then do you think that your business would attract more patrons if public transportation were available? In that case, 50% said yes. So that was the overall survey. There were some additional comments involved with the survey. And those comments range the gamut from, we see a distinct need for public transportation in East Ridge. The city of Chattanooga has public transit throughout the city. East Ridge needs connectivity, both within East Ridge and to other portions of the county. We heard a lot of comments about meeting the needs of the disabled and the senior population in the community. Connectivity, people without a car. But we also did see comments, especially from those respondents who were not in favor of bringing CARTA to East Ridge, addressing there may not be a particular need, we currently don't have transit, as well as concerns related to cost and any potential taxes that might be associated with that. Any questions so far? So we're looking at options for survey, for service, and after reviewing all that information, there's a lot of choices involved in this process. We can look at potential routes, which we propose during the public engagement process. There are a variety of different transit vehicles, ranging from neighborhood buses to 30-foot buses, 35, and ultimately the larger buses. The frequency of service. Does the bus come by every 15 minutes, every 30 minutes, every hour, or even less frequently? And the span of service. What time in the morning does it start operating until what time in the evening? So all of these factors affect the operating performance of the system, as well as ultimately the cost. So the option I'm about to explore with you is a proposed option. Really, it's up to you and your citizens to decide all those variables and how they fit together. But an option that we think is a good fit for consideration is a demand responsive service throughout East Ridge. And to explain this, what I mean is this would be bus service, most likely using smaller neighborhood type buses to begin with. That would be on an on-call, on-demand basis, either through telephone technology or calling in directly. So a resident would simply call in their address location and their destination within East Ridge for essentially door-to-door service within the confines of East Ridge. Going beyond East Ridge, that bus would then either connect to downtown with direct service downtown or direct service to Eastgate Town Center, where a passenger then could interface with the mainline CARTA system. That, yeah. Sir.
An on-call bus, it's a handicapped person, it's a care bus, but if it's a non-handicapped bus, either way, it would be the same care.
It would be the same vehicle. So it would be a wheelchair accessible vehicle. Same vehicle would serve both. And we're modeling this with probably typically within 15 minutes response time. With most likely about a 15-minute delivery window, 15 to 20-minute delivery window, probably to Eastgate, and we'll have to model that specifically going into Chattanooga.
But on call, you take them anywhere they want to go.
Within East Ridge, so you wouldn't necessarily be able to get on the bus at your home and go anywhere within the city of Chattanooga.
I had a doctor's appointment at Erlanger Hospital. You wouldn't take me to Erlanger Hospital?
Not directly. You would go either to downtown Chattanooga, catch a bus there that would take you directly to Erlanger, or you could go to Eastgate and interline and connect. But to maintain the flexibility and dynamics of the system within East Ridge, we wouldn't have the capacity to just go anywhere and then be available for the next passenger within East Ridge.
You're talking about one bus available to each one?
We are looking at 3 buses.
3 buses.
So this is modeled on 3 buses. And it would be this type of vehicle. As the service scales up and as demand goes, CARTA does have 35-foot diesel hybrid buses. And we are taking delivery of a 35-foot all-electric bus and buses over the next few months. So these will be on the way. So it's a scalable proposal. We think starting with a smaller neighborhood type vehicle, we did receive some comments about the potential for larger buses going through the neighborhoods. And so starting out, we think the neighborhood bus would make a lot of sense. As demand increases, certainly putting full-size bus service on Ringgold Road is an opportunity for the future. And I'm sure this is a topic that is of some concern. Based on this modeling with a 3-bus scenario, operating as I explained, within East Ridge with only point service either to Eastgate or downtown, we believe the total cost for this package per year would come in at about $300,000. Now that is CARTA's total operating cost. That wouldn't necessarily be a specific burden for East Ridge. There would be funding opportunities that would provide for federal and state matches. So that wouldn't be your total burden, but that, to give you a sense of the total operating cost, that is what we think we'd be looking
What would the cost be to the passenger?
at. We're looking at, that would be up to public review and input. Currently, our cost is $1.50, with 75 cents for disabled and seniors and students. And then we have,
Charging now.
yes, yes. And then we have a variety of pass opportunities, such as the $50 31-day unlimited pass. So I think from an operating standpoint, those are all things to be determined and detailed, but we would, I think, envision as seamless of a transition from East Ridge into Chattanooga and Hamilton County as possible.
Being the on-demand service, how would you handle multiple calls around time to go to work, time to get off work?
We are,
Would you coordinate having multiple passengers on that same bus? Coordinate
Yes.
logistically?
oh, absolutely. So it's a shared ride service.
Okay.
The technology we're looking at right now would actually be a computer algorithm where people put in their set times, and they would be, if they go to work at the same time every day, they'd be able to pre-plan these trips, but the system would actually balance out, saying, I'm picking up passengers 1, 2, and 3, and then, oh, I have a call from passenger number 4. If it could go get that passenger without having a detrimental impact on the first 3, it's going to have some impact, but say 3 to 5 minutes, but if it goes beyond a certain metric where it knows they can't get to a destination on time, it will route the next bus to them.
Will there be a phone service as well? Because I know several elderly will not going to be able to operate a mobile device.
Yes, sir.
I'm on one of them.
Yes,
So,
you would be able to call in directly to a dispatcher who would then interface on the system on behalf of the customer.
Any kind of ballpark, what it costs the city, so there's grants and federal,
Typical participation rates would come in about maybe 50%. Could be a little bit less or more. It really depends on the specific funding opportunity that would be channeled. And then long-term, of course, there would need to be consideration, a particular funding opportunity would be for a particular period of time perhaps, but then there would need to be discussions about long-term funding, obviously for public transit, and how you might go about that. And so a key element for that would actually be participation. CARTA is the Chattanooga Area Regional Transportation Authority. So it's an authority established by state law. East Ridge, as a community within the state of Tennessee, would then pass an ordinance electing to participate in the Regional Transportation Authority and then be provided a board seat on the authority to consider discussions for going forward. That's all I have for this part. I mean, we're certainly here to entertain additional questions and any concerns or comments or steps you would like us to take to move forward.
I'm sure this has probably been talked about at some point. What are the hours that buses would be available?
The particular system we modeled here was Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's flexible. If there's a particular need earlier or later beyond that, we just took that as a starting point. As I mentioned, there's so many variables involved that we can modify this to really meet the needs and demands of your residents.
Say I work downtown, you're gonna take me to Eastgate. How long is it gonna take me to transfer downtown? So I pop out here to get transferred to downtown.
The number 4 Eastgate bus runs on a 15-minute frequency. So
So I get over these dates, how long is it gonna take me to ride to town?
from Eastgate, it's probably about 18 to 25 minutes, I would think.
So I-
30 minutes. About 30 minutes.
30 minutes. So I don't need to have a 7:30 start time at work, do I?
No, not in that case. But again, that's, all things are possible.
Council, are there any questions?
I have one other, on your caravan, does it operate the same way throughout the entire county? Did it pick up a resident and take it to one of your main lines, or does it take it directly to the person to your appointment?
That operates differently.
It
So
operates
this is a slightly different product.
Okay.
So true caravan service, and I'll prefer at least subtles if I go straight here, that is door-to-door service within the operating confines of CARTA's fixed route service. If we elected to provide this on-demand responsive type service, caravan would not be providing.
Pick them up at the door, but take them to a main line.
Right. And those are topics of discussion on how that might work. I mean, that's the way we modeled it here to kind of give you a starting cost number. It would operate somewhat differently than caravan does elsewhere.
Understand that?
Sure. Are there any other questions? Thank you. I appreciate it very much. And at this time, I would like to ask if there are any citizens or business owners here in the city of East Ridge who would like to provide input, bring a comment, question, or concern to the floor at this point. If you do, if you'll come to one of the microphones here at the front and state your name and address for the record, you'll have 5 minutes. See none? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, here's one. If you'll just state your name and address for the record.
My name is Erin Griffin. I live at 5001 Covington Drive, East Ridge.
Oh, there's a boat right there.
At the base of the mic, there should be a.
Awesome. Can y'all hear me now? Okay. My name is Erin Griffin, and I live at 5001 Covington Drive here in East Ridge. I am a citizen, I'm a parent, and a volunteer up at East Ridge Elementary a lot. Being up there and being a volunteer, one of the things I hear from parents is that they want to further their education, but they're a one-car household or they're single parents. So for me, a bus and for myself and other parents would open up opportunities to further our education. Also, I think we're Title I schools are in this town. Anytime there's a Title I school, there's obviously an economic need for public transportation, just for a better quality of life for everyone. One point that was brought up was people were against it because of sidewalks. Do we have sidewalk grant money? I think I read something about that one time. And what's going on, if there is anything in the works to expand sidewalks in East Ridge and make it more easier for people to get places and also for their, to walk for health reasons. So that's kind of what concerns me.
Sure. Well, thank you very much for your question. I think the city manager.
The sidewalks you've been reading about is part of the grant that we have. Sidewalks going in on Wrinkle Road only. As far as the residential roads, we have no sidewalk program.
Okay, so it was on Ringo Road, is it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Actually, it would be, I'm going to have to ask Amanda this one. Is this from John Ross to Brian? No.
I think it is.
Somewhere
Okay.
there.
Okay.
And unfortunately, while Amanda's coming up here, unfortunately, we talked about how the city was constructed.
Right.
Initially, there's, you see it shows up in a lot of different ways. There was was at a time when there wasn't really a whole lot of planning going on, and so a lot of our neighborhoods just don't have sidewalks. And we do have 100 miles of road in construction. And that's an accurate figure. 100 miles of road, and we do not have a whole lot of sidewalks, unfortunately. And so a lot of neighborhoods just don't have that. We would love to begin remedying that situation, but at this point, we're way behind, and it would take a long time to ever catch up.
We do have the sidewalk program, like City Manager said, on Ringgold Road. Right now, we have 3 grants. The first one is the Transportation Alternative Program that goes, we have extended it from Moore to include McBrien, that goes from McBrien Road to Thomas Avenue, which is just right here. The second grant, which is the multimodal grant, goes from Thomas Avenue up to about Belvoir, almost John Ross. And then the third one is Safe Routes to School, and that'll actually get a little bit of Belvoir Avenue there. I think it's up to that First Street, and then it'll cross over Ringgold Road to Eastridge Elementary and a little bit of part of John Ross there in order to get into Eastridge Elementary. We are part of the regional area here, and we do get TIP money, which is state and federal money. And we do have some thoughts of doing some more neighborhood sidewalks and some of our arterial roads, which are like Bryan, Moore, and a few of those others. But that's still a few more years down the road, because that only goes every 4 to 5 years. Is that right, Courtney? 4 to 5 years. So we change the plan every 5 years, 4 or 5 years to update, to try to get more money to do some of those programs, because we resurface those minor arterial roads, like I said, Bryan and such, and those, but we can also do sidewalks. So it's in the works, but it's still a few more years down the road, but we are thinking about it.
Okay.
As the mayor said, unfortunately, we didn't think about it in the past, but we're trying to remedy that for the future.
Okay, fantastic, thank you.
Thank you. Do we have? Yes, please.
If we was to choose to go to the neighborhood on call bus, and all comments that I read, the shoot things, I think, well, then there wouldn't actually be no need for walking to Ringgold Road. We'd be going to the front door taking the bus, so sidewalk would not be no issue,
Right, if it is, to the door, right?
Yeah, right, and then I'm talking about the one that's riding the bus, I'm not talking about the people that are involved with that.
Do we have anyone else who would like to write a comment? Okay. All right, well, with that, we will bring it back to council and just ask how we would like to proceed. I know we've been given some information here, very, very nice presentation. We've been given a ballpark figure as far as what it would cost CARTA to provide the service, or the particular proposed service. So I think it would probably be wise to think about it, and maybe next meeting or sometime here in the very near future, come back and really talk about making a decision. But we'll do whatever council wants to do.
I'd like to ask if we could get a ballpark figure on what's from the caravan to pick these people up and take them to their, say, to Erlanger, North Park. Because we're driving to North Park with my wife's hand, and I see the caravan coming through, letting people out, and we come out, we're pulling back through the circle, picking them up, taking them back home, so. And the seniors that I talked to out here, that's the type of service that they would like to have, because they can't, first off, they barely remember their appointments. Then when they get there, and they don't know who they're gonna ride back with, so when they see that bus, then they say, yeah, that's my ride.
So you're asking, as far as a standalone service, what would it cost to just do the caravan?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Get a ballpark figure on that, because I know I've read all these reports right here that I got the copies of, and that's it. And then some of the people don't live out here in the county. But, I agree, but we need bus service. I'd like to see it be something that, I like the idea of having it on call, we don't take them downtown, over here to shop, but that's what they want to do. But I'd also like to give these people a chance to get their doctor's appointment and get back home with that caravan. So maybe it's a binding thing to give us a cost on ballpark figure.
Do you understand, Phil?
Or separated territory.
Yeah, it's kind of the reason I was asking the question I was about the caravan. You've got an elderly that's not gonna wanna go to the transfer station, that's what you wanna call it, or a mainline point, and then have to determine what other line to get on to get to where they want, and then how do they get back? Do they have to go back to that same spot and then call the caravan to get them, or do they call them, they pick them up there? And so I had some questions like that too, but I agree with you, Steve. I believe the cost of that.
Right, I think we elected to separate that out. That is the most expensive product, and to provide I think the largest scope of service at a price point initially, but we'll certainly put those numbers together and give you the opportunity to.
You know, through the comments, elderly was mentioned about.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Well, we don't have to take any action at all. There's not a, we don't have to have a motion or a second or anything at this point. It's simply a matter of getting the additional information, exactly, and then coming back and making a decision based on what we learned from the other numbers that are provided, and I imagine that decision will be made within 6 weeks, probably, as far as how we would like to proceed. Now, that's just my guess, 6 weeks, but yeah, if council wants to move faster than that, council can move faster than that.
If we move faster than that, I'd like to ask them if they'd give up their grant for the rest of it.
Well, and that would be part, you see, that would be part of the decision as well, as far as, you know, we adopt the service, when does it start?
Right. There's another way to do it.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Pam Whitfield. I live at 5328 Marion Avenue. I have a handicapped daughter. I have to take her to and from work because CARTA does not come out here with the caravan to pick her up. I have neighbors across the street that are having to either use cab service or me, and when they use cab service, it's $40 one way each person and $40 back. They cannot get the van service here. So why can't they figure it where they have maybe 2 of the regular vans and 1 CARTA van, at least 1 caravan for the handicapped people here, because there's a lot of elderly and handicapped people that live here that really do need it. And I'm talking because of my daughter.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for
You're
that.
welcome.
So I think what has been asked for is a broken out cost for caravan service. And is there, and the neighborhood on call?
Can I just clarify?
Please.
Because on the caravan side of things, usually that's for the folks that are disabled, and we could probably include the senior population, whereas the on-demand is open to your whole entire resident. There would not be a requirement for anybody, so including elderly, disabled, and anybody else that needed the service to get to and from where they needed to go. So I understand the concerns about, on the other end of it, getting into downtown, and maybe we can look at offering, and we did think about that. We were just trying to start out with something maybe a little smaller, and then see what the demand would be, and then grow into something different or better. This, again, as Phil said, this is a changing dynamic all the time, so it's just when we think we've figured it out, something else comes out and it changes how we need to look at operating. So we'll take a look at the carrying for you and get that. It'll just limit your numbers a little bit more as far as the level of service that you can provide to the number of folks. And then we'd have to decide if you wanted to have the carrying service be everybody or just the elderly and disabled folks, and then have maybe one of the bus that does the other two pieces. So we can look at maybe type like a menu option or something that you can look at, and maybe we can combine all those things. And we may have some more questions, and if you have, thinking about this, you come up with questions, just get them to Amanda or Mayor, however that hierarchy works here, get them to us, and any other thoughts or clarifying comments so that we can make sure we're providing you with what you need would be very helpful. And y'all have my cell phone, they'd have my cell phone if you need to get in touch with us.
The last time you and I talked, that was the main topic then, was getting people to the doctor's office and back from the doctor's office, that would have to take a senior cruise around Chattanooga.
I think it's two paths here, quite honestly. From some of the survey results, some of the other conversations, it's, there's two paths to get people where they need to go, and that's probably what we need to look at and see if we can service everything. I'm not sure that we'll be able to do that all in one, with one type of service, so we may have to look at a combination of things. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, well, council, if you have no more questions, we will adjourn this meeting. Thank you, CARTA folks, for being here. Board members, staff, we appreciate it very much. Thank you.